Okay, chalo. So guys, is everyone back? Okay, let's try to see. Okay, so now guys, we said, okay, so the first one was your thyroxine. Now the second one, we need to talk about your calcitonin. Okay, so let's try to see what happens in case of your calcitonin, how it is going to work, and what happens in hypo and hypersecretion. But guys, I told you, see, calcitonin is going to regulate your calcium metabolism. Same way, your parathormone also maintains your calcium metabolism, and both of them they go hand in hand together. Meaning, if one increases, the other is going to be exactly responsible for the opposite thing. You will understand slowly as we move ahead. Okay, but first, let's try to see your thyrocalcitonin. What is this going to do? How it is really going to work? Okay, so we have your thyrocalcitonin or your calcitonin. Okay, now guys, when we talk about this, who is the one who's actually producing this thing? So guys, always remember, see in your diagram. So once again, let me just show you this diagram. So guys, see here we had seen this parafollicular cells. See, I told you they are the ones which are responsible for your thyrocalcitonin. So these are produced by your parafollicular cells. But now guys, these parafollicular cells, they also have one name. Okay, they are also called as your C cells. Okay, so parafollicular cells are also termed as your C cells. Guys, very important from the NEET point of view. Okay, because in your exams, NEET exams, they will give you the option as C cells, and they will give you other cells because they won't try to give you parafollicular cells. Okay, so keep this thing in mind. Okay, but now what is this going to do? Like, this calcitonin, what is it going to regulate? I told you, as the name suggests, calcitonin, meaning it has to do something with regards to your calcium, right? But it is not only going to help in calcium regulation, it also helps in phosphorus. So this is the one which regulates your calcium and phosphorus. Okay, phosphorus metabolism. Okay, fine. But now, guys, what is it really going to do? Like, what exactly is happening here? So let me just show this thing. Okay, so guys, when we talk about your thyrocalcitonin, what is going to happen? Let's imagine you have your bone out over here. Okay, so let's say this is your bone. And now, besides the bone, you're going to see huge amounts of your blood supply. Okay, so let's imagine this is our blood supply. Now, where is calcium going to be present, guys? Calcium is going to be present inside the blood. So let's imagine this is your blood. Now, what is this calcitonin going to do? Guys, calcitonin is now going to help transfer the calcium ions from the blood onto the bones. Okay, so you will see that all these calcium ions, they will now start moving and they enter into your bone, making your bones really strong. So this is the job done by your calcitonin. So we will just say, what is calcitonin going to do? Calcitonin, it just helps in the transfer of calcium and potassium and your phosphorus. Okay, so both of them, guys. Okay, of calcium and phosphorus from the blood into the bones, and that is why it is going to make the bones really strong. Okay, fine. But guys, once again, there will be hyposecretion. There will also be hypersecretion of this thing. We will see this thing. But guys, before we see this, we will try to compare it with your parathyroid gland. Okay, and then we will do both of them. They are hypo and hypersecretions at the same time. Okay. Now, guys, one more thing. See, can I say, like, this is removing calcium ions from the blood and putting it into the bones? So that means the calcium levels in the blood are decreasing, right? So because the calcium levels have decreased in the blood, we also call this hormone as hypocalcemic. Okay, because it decreases the blood calcium levels. Fine. Let's try to see the next one. Okay, so on the other side, guys, we have your parathyroid glands. Okay, now guys, parathyroid glands, we said, what are they going to produce? They are going to produce parathormone. Okay, now parathormone, guys, this is also known by one more name. Okay, this is known as Collips hormone. Okay, like we have C cells, we also call this thing as Collips. Okay, Collips hormone. And once again, what is this going to do? Once again, the same thing, guys. It is also going to regulate the calcium and phosphorus metabolism. Okay, so it will make sure that wherever you want it is going to be in proper amounts, whenever you want it is going to be in decreased amounts. So that is all going to be regulated. But now let's see how is this thing going to work. So once again, guys, the same thing. Let's say we have our bones, something like this. And let's say besides the bone, we are going to have our bloodstream. So once again, let's say something of this sort. Let's imagine. Okay, now what is going to happen, guys? Here, exactly the opposite thing. Whatever calcium ions that are present in your bones, they are now going to be transferred into your blood like this. So here the calcium ions are moving to the other side. Okay, so if you look at both, see thyrocalcitonin and parathyroid glands, both of them, they are going to be working exactly in the opposite manner that way. Okay, so I hope everybody is okay with this thing. Okay, but now what can I say? So this is the one who's going to transfer. Okay, so in this case, it transfers calcium ions from bones to the blood. So once again, my question to you guys is, guys, if I give you an option, if we have calcitonin and we have your parathormone, who do you think is going to be better for your body? Can anybody answer this thing quickly, 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 guys? Who is going to be better for your body? Very nice. No, someone is saying neither of them is better for your body. No, no, no. तो फिर मतलब ही नहीं है ना. No. Okay. Yes, some of you are saying both, some of you are selecting one of these. Yes, guys, remember, those who are saying both are the right ones. Why? Because no matter, even if I give you a choice between these two go hand in hand together. Guys, if like one of them is like like really really in high amounts, the other has to balance it. Just like how we have your insulin and your glucagon, both of them, they balance one another. So both of them are important. I cannot say, oh, only insulin is important. No, that would mean it is wrong. Okay, here also, guys, even when I talk about both these hormones are going to be important for your body. Okay, but then what will your tendency will be? Your tendency will be to choose calcitonin. Why? Okay, because calcium ions are going to be deposited onto the bones, so it is going to make your bones really really strong and hard. No, 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 guys. Excess of that is also going to be bad. So there is a need to maintain balance. Okay, and that is why we require both of them. Both of them, they are going to be equally important. Yes. Okay, but now let's try to see. Okay, so once again, guys, here, what did I tell you? That because the calcium ions were being removed from the blood, it was hypocalcemic. Your calcium ions are going to be poured inside the blood. So this becomes hypercalcemic. So hypocalcemic and hypercalcemic, guys. So, okay, so this is the first difference. My question is everybody okay with this? First, just okay, 1 minute, I'll just zoom out so you will get an idea. Okay, so just see, and then we will see, like, what is hypo and hyper secretion on the basis of this, guys, because see, both of them, they are going to be opposite. So the hypo and hyper secretion will also be exactly opposite to one another. Okay, everybody fine? Okay, guys, kindly reply. Reply. Yeah. Okay, so now let's try to see what is going to be hypo and hyper secretion in this case. Okay, so guys, let's see. First one we have hyposecretion and hyper. Okay, so hyposecretion of your calcitonin. So let's imagine, guys, if by any chance you are having hyposecretion, will calcium ions be deposited from the blood onto the bones? No, right? Because we are having less amounts of your thyroid calcitonin. So if calcium ions are not going to be deposited onto the bones, are your bones going to be like strong? No. So what are you going to suffer from here, guys? You are going to suffer from weak bones. First thing. Okay. But now let's try to see on the other side. Guys, on the other side, we have your hypersecretion. In hypersecretion, what you're going to see, all these calcium ions, excess amounts of calcium ions are now going to be deposited onto your bones. Is it going to be good? No, guys, anything in excess is always going to be bad. So what happens is basically when more amount of calcium ions are going to be deposited onto the bones, guys, it is not going to make your bone really strong. Rather, it is going to make it really, really brittle and fragile. So even if you like fall down or if you have a big jerk, immediately you're going to suffer from fractures. Okay, so this is going to make it brittle bones. Okay, remember anything in excess is not always good. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, but now let's try to see on the other side. Okay, so now on the other side, once again, we have your hyposecretion and we have hypersecretion. Okay, I want you guys to compare it, okay, with what we have done just now. Okay, now guys, see hyposecretion of your parathormone. So what do you think? If there is hyposecretion of parathormone, guys, will the calcium ions be transported into the blood? What do you think? Very nice, very nice. No. Okay, so if there is hyposecretion, calcium ions would not reach into the blood. But if they're not reaching the blood, that means they are all going to be deposited onto the bones only. But now, what will that mean? That means you will have excess of calcium ions on the bones. But if there is excess of calcium ions on the bones, guys, once again, what did I just tell you? If there is anything in excess, it is not going to make your bones strong. So you are going to see brittle bones. Okay, first thing, guys. Second, this is the most important thing that is going to happen. See, guys, because calcium ions are not going to be transferred into the blood, can I say the calcium levels in the blood are going to decrease, right? So if the calcium levels are decreasing, guys, now what happens? You are going to suffer from tetany. Tetany meaning you are going to have, because see, there is no calcium ions which are going to be masking that entire. If you remember the actin myosin thing, like we had talked about the sliding filament theory. So we had calcium which was protect covering it. If the calcium is removed, immediately the muscles are going to undergo contraction. Same thing is going to happen out over here. If you have less amounts of calcium into the blood, now there is not sufficient amount of calcium ions to mask that actin myosin thing. And now what is going to happen? Immediately you are going to see repeated spasms or repeated twitchings. So okay, so you are going to see repeated spasms, or you're going to call this thing as twitching. Okay, and what is this called? This is called as your parathyroid tetany. This is known as parathyroid tetany, or because this has been triggered because of low levels of your calcium, so we also call this thing as hypocalcemic tetany. Okay, so this is First thing that we need to know. Okay, and guys, keep these terms in mind: parathyroid tetany or hypocalcemic tetany. Okay, but now on the other side, guys, we have hypersecretion. Now, in hypersecretion, what will happen? All the excess amounts of calcium ions are going to be deposited into the blood. But if you start losing more amounts of calcium ions from the bones, are you really going to benefit from this situation? Absolutely not. What are you going to say? You are going to immediately see that your bones are going to be weak. So, weak bones. But, guys, in this case, what happens? In fact, you are going to see that the bones are becoming so weak that you will see holes in these bones. And, guys, when you have holes in the bones, what do we call this thing? We call this thing as your osteoporosis. So, guys, this is characterized hypersecretion of your parathormone. This is going to give you osteoporosis, holes in the bone. Okay, with this thing, guys. Okay, and always remember, see, my question to you guys, see, your parents, especially your mother, she must be in the 40 to 45 range, or let's imagine 45 to 50 range, right? So they should be somewhere, like, your mother should be in between 40 to 50 years, right? Now, guys, what happens is, if you have ever checked her medication, you will always see that she takes some folic acid supplements, she will take shell cal, or she will take calcium sandoz, or she will take some protein powder and calcium powder along with it, right? So why is she taking that? Because generally after your menopause, guys, menopause is the time when the menses are going to stop completely. And, guys, at this point, females are going to be absolutely crazy. Now, when my mom was undergoing that period, guys, I had absolutely no idea what was happening with her. Like, it is characterized by rapid mood swings. Already, you will see that, females suffer from mood swings a lot. And during your menopause, it is going to be tremendous, 10x times. And I used to never understand, like, what is happening. Why is my mom suddenly happy, then suddenly she is angry, then suddenly she is sad, then suddenly she is gloomy, then once again suddenly she is like a volcano. I used to think that, my mom, she's crazy. Okay, but it is because of this menopause, guys. Okay, during menopause, the hormone levels are going to be like completely off balance, so you yourself don't know what is happening. So females, if you want to have that idea, okay, I'll tell you. See, during your menstrual cycle, like, during the menses period, okay, the bleeding phase, okay, you will experience, like, just before that, you will experience, like, uh PMSing, like, pre-menopausal, like, stress kind of thing, guys. So you will feel that, sometimes you are like very sad, sometimes you'll feel like, no, oh, you are like, unnecessarily taking too much amounts of tension. Then if sometimes, if somebody sees something, you will feel that it is going to be so bad, that, how could this person say this thing to me, this that, right? So we call this thing as PMSing, guys. Just imagine that PMSing, you keep it on for, like, 1 year, 2 years, guys. That is how it is going to feel like. That is your menopause. Okay, really, really deadly stuff. Okay, so but then everybody has to go through it. And during that period, guys, your entire estrogen levels are going to be off, your parathormone levels are going to be off. So in that case, guys, you will see that females, they start suffering from your osteoporosis. Okay, so I'll just make a note out over here. So generally seen after menopause. Okay. Okay. So, guys, this is what we need to know with regards to both your hormones, sorry, calcitonin and your parathormone, guys. Okay, so just see, I told you, you have to compare this thing only. Why? Because both of them, they are going to be exactly opposite to one another. So see, if you want, see, hyposecretion of your parathormone is going to be weak bones. Hypo ka opposite hai hyper. So see, hyper, here also weak bones. Hypersecretion of parathormone, brittle bones. Hyper ka opposite hypo. Hypo, see, brittle bones. So see, both of them, they are going to be exactly opposite. And what is the key behind this? The key behind this is to understand this diagram. If you understand this diagram, guys, even if you don't know what is happening out of it, you can just put it on your own. Okay, sir, in hypocalcemic, there is no deposition of calcium ions from the blood. So again, there will be increase in calcium ion in the blood. In hypocalcemic, no. So what will happen in sorry, one minute. In hypocalcemic, there is no deposition of calcium from the blood. So again, there will be increase in the calcium ion in the blood. See, hypocalcemic. No. 1 minute. There's some, you know. See, what do I mean by hypocalcemic? Hypocalcemic. This is with regards to blood. Hypercalcemic. This is with regards to blood. This is not with regards to bones. Okay, so you are trying to mix up two things. Now let's try to see. So if I'm saying this is hypocalcemic, what does it mean? It removes the calcium ions from the blood and puts it into the bones. So yes, in this case, the calcium levels in the blood, they are going to decrease. Okay, so in this case, calcium levels in the blood are not going to increase. So you are confusing two things. Okay, so here the levels have gone down low. Here this is hypercalcemic. So what are you going to see? Calcium ions are going to be deposited more into the blood, so the blood calcium levels are going to increase. That is what it means. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, chalo. So, guys, this is what we need to know with regards to your parathormone and your calcitonin. But now, guys, let's try to move ahead and let's try to see one small gland out over there. Now, this gland, guys, this is known as a temporary gland. Okay, so let's try to see what is this temporary gland and where is it going to be found? How is it going to be? So, guys, we are talking about your thymus. So let's try to see where is this thymus, how is it going to be, what really happens. So see, guys, I have told you already that this thymus, where is the location, guys? It is going to be located behind the sternum. Okay, so this is present behind the sternum in front of the heart. Behind the sternum and in front of the heart. Okay, so that is, but now, guys, how is this thing going to be? So guys, once again, just like how we had seen your thyroid gland, it is going to be exactly something like that. However, the only difference is this is going to be really, really small. So what we say is, guys, sorry, I put down butterfly gland? Okay, guys, just remember I had spoken of, like, butterfly gland out over here. So this is also known as butterfly gland. Okay, so just keep this thing in mind. Okay, asked in your NEET exams, this is known as butterfly gland. Okay, so guys, here once again, how is this? This is going to be also a bilobed structure. Okay, okay, now the best part of this thing, guys, you know what happens? This basically, it is going to be large, and this is going to be prominent, and this is going to be fully functional in your children. Okay, so this is completely properly functional in children. But as you grow older, guys, it is going to become really, really small, and it is going to be very difficult to find. Okay, it and difficult to locate in your old people. Okay. But now, what is the importance of this? Like, what is it you're really going to do? So, guys, when we talk about this thymus, guys, the thymus, the thymus is the one, it produces a hormone. and that hormone helps in the differentiation of your WBCs. Okay, what is this hormone and how is it going to be important? Let's try to see. So, guys, what we are going to see is, like, see, because this thymus is involved in immunity. So let's understand this thing. I just told you thymus is involved in immunity. So what you will see is young people, they have better immune system. Like for example, your children, your adults, they will not suffer from diseases every now and then. But the same thing is not true in your old people. See, if you look at old people, they will always suffer from something or the other. Like, it is a continuous thing कि एक infection हुआ नहीं तो फिर उसके बाद में दूसरा, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा. So it is a continuous process. Why? Because as you grow older, the thymus is not working. But I told you thymus is responsible for immunity. So now what happens? Because thymus is not working, the the differentiation of WBCs doesn't take place, and because of that, you are going to have low immunity during your old ages. That is the reason. Okay. But now, what is this going to do? So if we look at this thymus, thymus produces this hormone called as thymosin. Okay, it produces this hormone called as thymosin. And now what is this thymosin going to do, guys? As I said, thymosin, this is going to help in the maturation of your T lymphocytes. Okay, so basically we have two types of lymphocytes. We have B lymphocytes and we have T lymphocytes. But guys, B lymphocytes, they are known as bone marrow lymphocytes because they mature in the bone marrow. T lymphocytes because they are going to mature in the thymus. So this one produces the hormone thymosin, and thymosin brings about the maturation of your lymphocytes. But along with this, guys, what are they going to give you? These are going to make sure that they are going to produce antibodies. See, these lymphocytes, we have already said that lymphocytes produce antibodies, right? So they produce antibodies. And guys, if we talk about antibody production, this is going to be known as humoral immunity. So there are actually two types of your immunity. We have humoral immunity, that means the one which is going to be present in your blood or fluid, and the other one is cell mediated immunity, which is provided by the cells. So because this is going to be antibodies, and antibodies will be like produced and they are going to be sent inside the blood, so that is why it is going to be humoral immunity. Okay, everybody all right with this thing? Got this part, guys? So that's it. That is what we need to know with regards to thymus. One very important thing, what is the hormone that is going to be produced? Hormone is going to be your thymosin. Okay, and another thing is, what they tell you is, guys, in your exams, they ask you, okay, who is a temporary gland out of the following? Identify. So this is going to be your thymus. Okay, along with this, they also ask you which gland is responsible for providing immunity. Once again, thymus. Okay, once again, they will ask you one question. This gland does not work properly in your old people, and it is difficult to locate. Once again, thymus. Okay, sir, the second type of immunity is termed as cell mediated. We will be doing this thing. Okay, so when we talk about your human health and diseases, in that I will talk about cell mediated immunity. This is going to be given by your different types of your cells. So we'll talk about this thing, but okay, so we have like cytotoxic T cells, or the killer T cells, so they will do this thing. But then for that I'll have to explain, but then that will do it in your human health and diseases. Okay, so guys, just go through this, just see if everybody is okay, all right with this. Okay, so guys, we are done with, like, few of the like your important gland. Now, the next gland that we are going to have, that is going to be your adrenal glands. So we have your adrenal glands. Then we have to talk about in detail. Actually, we have adrenal glands, and we have to talk about your pituitary. Okay, but adrenal glands is also going to be a little big. So what we'll do, once again, we have like a couple of minutes left. So we'll stop over here for the day, guys, and then we'll once again meet in the next class. Okay, there's one question, sir. Is it common for thymus to become small in old people? Yes, because thymus undergoes atrophy. No, it is. It is in its nature only that it starts showing atrophy. As you grow, it starts degenerating slowly, slowly, slowly. That way, it is a characteristic. Okay, so guys, once again, we'll stop over here for the day, and I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye, bye, everybody. Bye, bye. Bye, bye.